All right, are we ready to have some fun? Welcome to the Shark Tank. So we have our very own special RSPA version of this popular TV show. We've invited 4 companies to present in front of a panel of sharks. But instead of these sharks being startup investors looking to make their next deal, the panel will be comprised of members of the STS committee, with one additional member, people that love retail technology, love working with retail technology. So each of our 4 presenting companies will have exactly 4 minutes to present their business to the panel. We then allocated 4 to 5 minutes after that for Q&A with the shark panel. But instead of the sharks trying to poke holes in those business models or find weaknesses in the technology, our sharks will be focused more on clarifying the business and the technology and helping frame the market opportunity for the resellers in this room. So how did we pick these companies? Well, this is RetailNOW, so these are retail technology companies, but more specifically, these are companies that are focused on improving the customer experience. And we also wanted to find software and services companies. They're small companies with the mindset that we wanted to have companies that would that a VAR or reseller could bolt onto the existing point of sale or retail management system of their clients. We also tried to find companies that weren't very entrenched with the RSPA community. So companies that you don't know about or technologies that you want to learn more about. These are deployable solutions, so no vaporware. And finally, they also have an indirect channel. So we wanted companies that could work with the resellers in this room to make money right away. So how are we going to pick a winner? So on the television show, the individual sharks make their own decision whether to invest in the company or not. But we want to turn it over to the audience. And because this is a technology company, we want super high tech here. So on your seats, there should be a piece of paper. We're going to ask you to take a pencil and to circle the name of the company that you think has the best chance of being a success in the retail vertical. We're then going to collect those ballots by passing them to the aisle where they'll be collected. We're going to go backstage, and we're going to count those manually. So super, super high tech. And then we'll come back out, and we'll announce a winner. And what will that winner get for this competition? Well, all the presenters get to discuss their business into a room filled with retail IT professionals. But the winner is going to receive a free pass for the 2018 RetailNOW show. They're also going to get a custom trophy made specifically for this event. And that Amber Murdoch procured for us. So with that, why don't we introduce the sharks? So come up on stage. Can we get a round of applause for our sharks? Oh, thanks. Thanks. Mr. O'Leary.
Are we ready?
Okay, so this is our panel. So let me make some quick introductions. So sitting next to me is Marty Hodgett. Marty is a partner at Accenture where he works with some of the largest retailers in the world, such as Best Buy, REI, Nordstrom's, and Starbucks. Before that, Marty was involved with a few companies as CIO and Chief Strategy Officer, including a retail chain of hardware stores called Orchard Supply Hardware, as well as a publicly traded internet security company named Symantec. Marty's career, interesting fact about Marty, his career has come full circle. So he actually started his career at Accenture, which was then known as Anderson Consulting. And he loved it so much that he came back 16 years later, only to find out that although retailers are using new technologies, they still have the same problems that he saw 16 years ago. So that's Marty. Our next panelist is Velda Gooden. Velda has been in IT distribution the channel for 11 years and with the STS committee for 3 years. In her current role at ScanSource, she is responsible for the leadership and management of the ScanSource point of sale and barcode technology services and solutions team. An interesting fact about Velda. So her favorite phrase is shake it up and ask why, which either is her approach to dealing with customers and partners, or it's how you describe her dance moves at the closing party of last year's RetailNOW.
I thought it was the margaritas you made. It's all good.
All right, our next panelist is Luis Ortiz. Luis is Group Product Manager for Epson America's Point of Sale Solutions Division, where he leads product marketing and business strategy and product launches for the North American region. Prior to Epson, Luis spent 7 years at Belkin International as Director of Product Management. So here's an interesting fact about Luis. So he likes to collect advanced degrees like other people collect cars. He has not just 1 degree, but 2 degrees from the same university, USC, one in business management and the other in electrical engineering. And our last panelist is Uwe Surwald. Uwe has over 35 years experience in the grocery retail sector, including retail operations, wholesale operations, and retail technology solutions. Uwe joined Truno 11 years ago and is currently Vice President of the Wholesaler Business Development. An interesting fact about Uwe. He is one of only 3 people known in the world to have the name Uwe. All right, so with that, let's bring up our presenters. So please help me welcome to the stage Yair Holzer, founder and head of Como US.
Hello. Today, I'm not going to present you the new iPhone. I am going to introduce you to the most advanced and smartest solution for businesses who understand the importance of customer engagement in the age of the iPhone. My name is Yair Holzer, and I'm co-founder and head of Como US. In the next 4 minutes, I'm going to show you how our Como Sales platform adds a new dimension to the POS solution, taking it from a POS system into an omni-channel engagement solution. Well, Como is an outstanding story of innovation, founded 12 years ago and quickly become the first private startup Israeli company that reached a $1 billion evaluation. Since then, Como is a pioneer leader in the space of cloud-based engagement solution. With more than 100 employees in our HQ, with a very strong R&D team at our core, every one of us is focused to develop and grow Como Sense platform to keep it ahead of industry needs. Our operation is managed from our New York and London offices. Our solution meets the needs of small to medium brick-and-mortar chains. We have built the biggest POS partnership network in the world. More than 75 POS companies join our Como Partner Program, enjoying a unique business model. We empower our POS partners by providing them an end-to-end customer engagement solution that's fully integrated to their POS. That way, the POS company gains a powerful competitive edge by offering their clients digital tools they most need. By offering their businesses a customized branded mobile app, we allow the SMBs to have a solution that until recently was only available to giants like Starbucks. For integration with the POS, we use real-time data to manage special offers and to deliver rich and personalized content through the app. We allow our businesses to choose from a variety type of loyalty programs, which can be customized based on their business goals and personalized based on the customer profile and purchase history. Using a sleek control panel, the businesses can monitor and analyze their customer behavior and can manage and design personalized marketing campaigns. These marketing campaigns can be fully automated and can be effectively targeted at their customers through various channels, like text message, mobile app notification, and emails. Well, we provide our businesses with tools to measure their success and to achieve their goals. Our proof is in the numbers. For businesses who manage their customers for more than a year, we see an increase of 40% in monthly purchase amount. This is an amazing figure, and I'll be happy to share with you more great case studies later at our booth. So how we are different from other folks in our space? First, we are an established company. We are not dependent in our next funding round or on an exit. Thanks to our size and resources, we have built the most advanced solution on the market, providing our businesses with a complete set of tools to customize their own branded solution. We successfully built a powerful and comprehensive API which integrates deeply and directly with the leading POS solution in the world. We worked hard to become a global leader in POS integration and partnership. For the POS reseller, we are offering a unique business opportunity. We empower the resellers with a solution that expands their current offering. We support them from setup to success and invest significant resources to help them boost their business. We allow the reseller to manage their own client relationship, bundle CommonSense any way they choose, and enjoying upsell opportunities and to increase their monthly revenue. To make sure the reseller getting their win with Como, we have Rick Malfiner with us as our Director of POS Partnership. Well, I hope that I have made you realize that having CommonSense in your POS just makes sense. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Questions from the panel?
Yes, I got one. So what vertical markets are you in currently, or what is your best market? And then are you currently looking to get into other markets, like larger markets like grocery and other?
So generally speaking, we are working already both in retail and hospitality sectors. And it really depends on the POS partner that we have in specific markets. So when we are partnering with a POS solution that is more focused on hospitality or on grocery, we are making the study with the POS partner to understand the needs of their customers. Our infrastructure is built in a very generic way, so to adjust features to be a fit for a specific sector is quite easy for us. And we already have case studies for different sectors like groceries, department stores, quick service, fast casual chains. So I can't tell you a specific sector, but the four that I named is the main one that we are already active and have live case studies and success stories.
So talk to me about your business model. Who pays you and how do you get paid? Is it a retailer? Does by transaction, by store? How do they do it?
Yeah, so it's a monthly fee. It's a SaaS model. The way we're working with resellers is they've got a buy rate with us, and then they collect the money from their customers. So we want to be in that spot where they're the front line to their own customers, and then we support them with everything they need from marketing to sales and everything else in between.
And do you also go direct on your own or only through resellers?
We do not. We're only through resellers.
And who sets the end user pricing? Is that the retailer, or do you have guidelines or requirements on what the end user pricing will be?
So we have a suggested retail price, and we give them a buy rate on the percentage, and it's one of the best in the industry, I will say, from what I've seen in the cloud world. But we do allow them to sell it for whatever they can. So we've got two products. We've got CommonSense and CommonSense Express. So both of those products are set up so that they can create the pricing. We look to see them bundle it in with their solution. The whole idea is to give that whole solution and have us be part of that.
Now, part of the integration process is that for specific POS companies, specific integrators, they can have a deeper integration, and they can even make new features through the Como API. So for that type of examples, they can even price it in a higher price. They can add more services through our API. This is why for the CommonSense platform, for the license, we just charge a fixed price. But different resellers or different integrators can bundle it in different way depending on the services.
So the buy rate doesn't vary by the depth of the integration with the point of sale vendor?
No, this is for the license fee to use Como.
Right, okay.
What do you guys do differently from native loyalty systems in a point of sale system?
Okay, this is a good question. This is what's part of our benchmark, because when we want to position Como as a company that's empower the POS and improve the POS offering, we study very well this type of solutions. So we look at this legacy loyalty solution as something that was quite standard when you compare it to our solution. Our solution, of course, adds all the engagement dimension to the solution, that you can in real time communicate with the customer. But it's not only about the engagement. The CommonSense engine behind it designed in a very sophisticated way that can tag users for different segments based on what they purchase, and then all the experience can be personalized using the web service between us and the POS. So immediately when someone buying a bottle of wine, they can be tagged as a wine lover, and for this point they will get more offers or more experience that's related to wine in this venue.
So for the reseller that maybe isn't as technically savvy, they want to be able to offer this to a customer, can they outsource some of that building of the content and that kind of thing to you?
So first of all, we are helping the reseller. Every reseller that signing with us is getting his own dedicated account manager who is an expert in our solution and bring business knowledge about our former case studies and examples. They're also getting access to a knowledge resource that they can get articles and videos to understand what to offer their clients. But usually when these resellers are working with bigger chains, so these chains usually have digital agencies. And sometimes we see examples that the digital agency take part of the solution to manage it for the client, but the resellers stay in front in terms of tier 1 support for the tech issues and how to set up the solution.
I want to go back to that question I had. So what really separates you from all the other dozen loyalty systems is what is your advantage or separation?
So first of all, an end-to-end solution. We are not a feature-focused company. We're not just providing a punch card or a payment app that adds a few other around. We build it in a 360 approach. So the end-to-end solution is a really differentiator. Another one, I think, it's our experience and size. We bring more experience to the table. We are an established company, and we are not here to just win a few clients. We're here to build a long-lasting relationship with the reseller community.
So is your technology specific to a point-of-sale system, or can you work with any point-of-sale system?
No, we can work with any point-of-sale system.
So I'm sure there's a dashboard so that you can say, we sent out this many coupons to this customer. How many did they actually redeem?
Absolutely. I show it in a glimpse, and you can hop to our booth later to see a live demo. We have a very sleek control panel that gives like the cockpit view for the business owner and the reseller for the specific account to see their client, to see what they're getting, to see redemption rates, and to get also insights about what deal worked better and what deal was less effective, and we're giving all this insight. And of course, the option to create actions and campaigns and to send offers to your clients.
So I had a question just on pricing again. So when our customer base, we get a lot of pushback where people want a loyalty solution, but when they find out the cost of it, then they just ask for something very simple without the bells and whistles, such as a mobile app. Mm-hmm. So what is your recommendations for pricing for the end users, and where do you see the sweet spot in the pricing?
You mean what would be
the
the best pricing for the reseller side?
Yeah.
So we are not charging setup fee, but I usually recommend reseller to charge a setup fee for starting the process to make the client be more serious about what they are asking. So first of all, between a few $100s to a few $1,000 one-time setup fee to set up the solution, including the mobile app and all the configuration and the POS. Regarding a monthly fee, it's a per store fee. When we're talking about CommerceSense, which is the full solution, around between $121 to $199, depending on the size of the client with volume discount.
Okay, so $120 to $200 a month. Okay. All right, we're going to have to cut you off there.
Okay.
So thank you very much for presenting and answering our questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so if you can keep those hands clapping, but please welcome to the stage Greg Kingham, who's VP of Sales and Marketing at Afterwards.
Hello.
You're on
Thank
clock.
you, Sharks.
Yep.
Thank you for having me, and really excited to talk to you about a company called Afterwards. You probably have never heard of us before, but I hope over the next few minutes you'll have an opportunity to understand what makes us unique. The title of our presentation is Don't Ask Stupid Questions. Your mom probably taught you that there's no such thing as a stupid question. Well, when you see a gorilla suit guy jogging by, maybe there is a stupid question in there somewhere. But we believe that our tool allows us to not ask stupid questions when it comes to customer engagement. When you see this woman sitting here with an apple in one hand and a donut in the other hand, trying to determine which one of those she's actually going to eat, we think that if you already know the answer, then the question is stupid. If you've taken an online survey recently or some sort of customer engagement, then you've probably been asked questions that you thought, why are they asking me these questions? These are things they should probably already know about the transaction. And so what Afterwards did was we applied for and received a patent to marry the ability to take transactional point of sale detail and to feed that directly into the survey engine in real time. So instead of asking questions like, where were you, what did you have, what did you buy, we ask questions like, how did you like the chicken fajitas? What did you like most about Diane as your server? The types of questions that provide specific feedback then to the hospitality or retail organization so that they can begin to really understand what their customers think. So that results in shorter surveys, less boring surveys, and certainly much better feedback, and allows us to dig really deep into the information that we'd really like to get to without asking 300 questions. We believe that actionable customer data makes you very, very powerful. Once we begin to really understand what our customers like about our brand and what they think about the interactions that they have with us, then putting that data into a system that provides dashboards and analytics, measures things like perception index, as well as a loyalty index, and feedback about the people, the process, and the place that you're encountering your guests with, then that becomes powerful. Because data that is actionable is powerful. And without that ability to act on what you've learned, then you're really just kind of doing nothing. If you remember the lifetime value of a customer, which is something that I certainly grew up with, then we believe that it's much easier to keep the customers that you already have than to go get customers that don't know anything about your brand. And yet, every day, people encounter these brands and have not necessarily great experiences. So in the system of Afterwards, there is a built-in guest recovery component that allows the survey to short circuit to an exit that creates a text message to somebody local to the survey to then react immediately. So it's very, very powerful in that respect. But most importantly, as we're talking about what does this do for value-added resellers, it makes your customers smarter and it puts money in your pocket. And it puts money in your pocket from a recurring revenue perspective, because Afterwards is software as a service that's hosted in Microsoft Azure. And as a result of that, that ongoing monthly revenue that gets generated to us also gets generated to the VAR. So thank you very much for the opportunity to present Afterwards to you today, and thank you for listening to my pitch.
All right, thank you.
So how do you get the information from the transaction to your?
That's a great question. Right now, a number of different ways. We actually have a sister company that's been in business for 26 years. They have about 80 different point-of-sale integrations that we are taking advantage of. But we're also tied into the Epson Cloud, the OmniLink Merchant Services Cloud, which allows anyone that uses the Epson printers for us to gather that data real-time from the Epson Cloud and to push that directly into the survey.
So
And that's product-level information?
That's what?
Product-level information for
Sure,
the printer.
it's absolutely everything that's in the actual transaction. You know, what they bought, where they bought it, when they bought it, who sold it to them, so on and so forth. So it allows you to ask those targeted questions.
How do you treat that data? Do you treat it as your data or the customer's data, or who's the owner of that?
It's always the customer's data,
Okay.
right? It's never my data. It's always the customer's
Do you
data.
do anything with the data yourself and other? Okay.
Don't resell it. Don't give it to anybody. It's really there. You know, we're custodians of the data for the purposes of serving up, you know, the information into a survey engine. But the customer's always their data.
And then one more question. So it's in the pin pad, or how does it actually?
So the technology is really just a Java tag that can be inserted on anywhere. So it can be served up off a QR code. It could be launched off the wireless when you walk in. It could be type in this information from the bottom of a receipt. And then they're just taking it on whatever device they want to. And then it's painting the survey as they take it. So it's not a preset survey. It's asking you the next question based on how you answered the previous question in many cases.
So how do you identify the customer? What do you need in the POS? Do you need them to have a loyalty program? You're going after credit card data only? Where are you?
Good question. We do integrate with loyalty programs, so obviously if there's a loyalty customer, then we can certainly grab that data. But in most surveys, you also have the option to self-identify. And so if they're self-identifying, especially if they're giving less than a fabulous survey response, they'll many times self-identify. We don't really read any credit card track one data as a general rule.
So there's a lot of information that you're gathering, well, you or your customers are gathering, but are you helping them turn that data into something actionable?
Absolutely. It's important in building the questions to be able to get the answers that you're looking for, but once you get those answers, it's important to know what to do with them. And so the analytics dashboard really kind of shines a light on exactly what they should be focusing on. Here's Bob's Chicken, and you're getting really bad results with Bob's Chicken, and it's very evident in the survey results. So what should you do from a people, a product, and a place perspective to improve that perception of Bob's Chicken? So it gives them actionable things to go and change on whatever they're getting poor feedback on, or to reinforce where they're getting positive feedback.
Do you have any kind of methodology on how the survey goes, how long, how many questions, how many?
Yeah, most questions, it's interesting, surveys, when they first came out, people were like, oh, let's do a survey. And then they said, well, let's get more information. So then it became that long. And then people resented that, so now they're one question. And so it's kind of all over the board. But I think a good survey is usually 4 or 5 questions, maybe, depending on how much feedback they want to give. Our system was initially designed not only by our experts, but also people that have written books on this topic, as well as people that teach hospitality at well-known universities in the U.S.
So if I'm a reseller and I love this and I'm selling it to all different store chains, is there an opportunity for me to have a dashboard and provide those type of analytics to all of them, instead of giving it to the store? That's part of my service that I'm going to offer, that I will help analyze and give you the feedback.
Have not explored that model. I don't know whether it would be something where we'd have to anonymize the data or not, but not currently, but something to think about.
What about the relationship or doing a survey from the online side and shopping through e-commerce versus in a store?
Same thing. So at the end of the shopping experience, you can simply embed our Java tag in the web page that says "Take our survey." And when they click that, it calls our service up in Azure and begins to paint the survey.
You can do that.
Right. So either way.
Are you indifferent to any of the retail markets or hospitality or?
So traditionally we've worked in hospitality, but this is a product that goes really across every vertical that we can think of where there's client interaction.
Where do you think the most effective place is to gather the survey information? Because I think you can pull it off websites, you can pull it off a payment, you can present the questions on a payment terminal, there's mobile apps. Like, where do you think the sweet spot is for actually engaging with that customer to get valid survey feedback?
I've seen a lot, and I think I was intrigued by the survey at time of payment, but honestly at time of payment you just want to pay and get the heck out of there. So it's got to be one question, and what do you get out of one question? Right? Maybe one key insight. I think that printing it out on the bottom of the receipt, that's going to go in the pocket, the trash, whatever. I don't know what the fill out rate is on those, but it's got to be pretty low. I think engaging them on their mobile device at the time of the transaction is probably the most powerful way to engage them, so that they can take it as they go, as opposed to being stuck at a terminal somewhere filling something out.
Do people ever get creeped out that they just did a transaction and next thing you know they have a message on their app talking about what they ordered?
No more
for
creeped
dinner?
out than you get when you're sitting at the airport and Facebook says, "Oh, I noticed you're at the Delta terminal."
Right.
I mean, we live in that digital age where everybody knows everything about what we're buying and where we are.
So so the dashboard, is that always in real time, or is it accumulated like over a day and then a refresh and gives you a snapshot?
So it's both. It's real time, but then we're tracking that data across a broad period of time, because survey knowledge is typically viewed in a 3-day, 7-day, 28-day, certainly not year over year typically. It loses its value from an analytical perspective.
All right, one last question. You got 10 seconds to answer. What's your price point for the retailer?
Full price point for the product is $49.95 a month.
Okay.
And the reseller gets a nice cut of that.
They
Okay.
can do as many surveys as they want for
Many as they want. No price, no extra price per survey. And in our experience, we think that's a pretty good price, depending on based on what we've seen in the marketplace.
Okay.
Right?
Out of time.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay, so please help me welcome our next participant to the stage. This is Bob Malaya, U.S. Business Leads at Shopik.
Good day, everybody. Good day. My name is Bob Malaya. I'm the U.S. Business Lead for Shopik. Really excited to be here and share my story with you. Shopik is a startup based in Tel Aviv. We are making a major push into the U.S. market right now, and we have a goal. It's a noble goal. Our goal is to reinvent the way customers shop from the moment they enter a store until the moment they leave. Wrong slide.
You're going backwards. Hit the...
No.
you can
There
look
it
down
is.
here.
Okay, here we are, back on track. Thank you. I'm sure everyone on the stage and everyone in the audience is familiar with this scene, particularly at busier locations and at certain times of the year. Long lines are just something that we've become accustomed to. It should be noted that customer experience levels are measured at their absolute lowest when a customer enters a store and can't buy a couple items without waiting at an unreasonably long line. In fact, 1 out of 10, studies show that 1 out of 10 customers will walk out, abandon their items or their cart, and not make a purchase when faced with long lines. And what does this mean? This translates to a loss of billions of dollars a year for retailers. But what if I could take out my device, my mobile device, scan the items that I want to purchase, pay for them wherever I happen to be in the store, and leave the store without waiting in any line whatsoever? That's exactly the tested and mature solution that Shopik offers to our clients' customers. But beyond just eliminating lines, just think about the insights that we can give our clients about the data not previously available of their customers in store, and the actual in-store shopping process. We can engage clients with upsell opportunities that never were previously available because clients are scanning as they shop and we're engaging with them during that in-store process. So it's scan as you shop, pay anywhere that you happen to be, and leave without waiting in line, and that's the process that we offer. It has to be mentioned that the biggest perceived obstacle in mobile self-checkout is shrinkage, which is loss based on theft or customer error. Until now, there hasn't been a software solution to address this, but Shopik has created a very sophisticated algorithm that measures customers' behavior, not just at checkout, but during the shopping experience. By thousands of data points, we evaluate that data and we just simply identify abnormalities. And when we identify an abnormality, we flag that transaction for further assistance by a store associate. It's a machine learning tool, so it gets smarter and smarter. And Shopik believes that this is not only a competitive advantage for Shopik, but this is a game changer in point of sale. A little bit about us. We work with 3 of the largest retailers in Israel. Toys R Us, I'm sure you're familiar with the logo. Shufersal, their largest supermarket. This is data on Shufersal, 300 locations, $6 billion in revenue. And Home Center, their largest do-it-yourself store. Currently, we occupy over 1 million square feet of retail space that we're live in, and our SDK is installed on over 200,000 customers' mobile devices. I have a live demo in my pocket. If anyone wants to see the future of shopping live later on or want to talk about partner opportunities, please tap me on the shoulder. Again, I'm Bob Malaya, and this is Shopik.
All right, thank you.
So I have a question. What is can you talk a little bit more about how this theft prevention product piece works?
Sure. Basically, it's not unlike what major credit card companies do to identify fraud in mass amounts of data. Of course, our data sets are different. Our proprietary algorithms are completely different. But we've built this system that can simply, it looks at thousands of pieces of data, and it builds patterns, and it could find abnormalities in a shopping pattern. And we flag those to be identified as either correct or incorrect, and the machine gets smarter and smarter in time. We're actually live with that at Shufersal, but we've been live for about a week in a beta version, so I don't have metrics for you. But our goal is not to eliminate theft or eliminate shrinkage. It's simply to keep shrinkage at its current level or less. So if we could implement mobile self-checkout and decrease shrinkage, that would be a huge win for us, and that's why we call it a game changer.
So how does the payment process work in the app?
Oh, we just simply integrate with our client's existing payment gateway.
And what about the point of sale system that's actually would be at the physical register? How do you tie in with their back end?
We certainly do. We have an open API naturally. Truth be told, everybody does things a little bit differently, so that's the integration portion. So we made it as simple as possible.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Yeah, can you walk through how it's actually used in the store? So, because someone walks in, they see a long line, then they pull out their phone, open your app, and then...
Sure. With Schufersal, for example, it's not the Shopic app. It's their mobile app powered by Shopic, so it's white labeled. So Schufersal has amazing signage. You just click a QR code, download their app, and you could shop in the store, pay from wherever you happen to be. On the way out at Schufersal, you go to a kiosk, get a printed receipt, and leave. No lines whatsoever.
So do people use this primarily as their normal checkout process, or is it only in cases where the lines are long?
No, people are using this as their normal checkout process.
What's the adoption rate? What percentage of transactions go this way rather than normal point of sale lane?
I don't have exact metrics for you. That depends on, we have metrics, but it depends on the time of day, time of year, seasonal, that sort of thing. So, and every client's different. Grocery is different than apparel. We have an apparel solution where our kiosk actually lets the user remove the RFID tag and only remove it from items that they paid for. If they try to remove it from items they haven't paid for, it simply won't remove the tag. So the adoption rates in apparel are completely different than grocery.
So how do you update the data between the store management system and your application? Is that done real-time basis, or is it a batch job every night?
No, it's done in real time. And in fact, we even have a management app that we can give to managers in the store so they can see who's buying what in the store in real time. So when it comes to, again, with apparel, clienteling becomes even easier because you could see who's scanning what and approach those people in the store.
So can it actually track the shopper through the store? Like they stopped at this end cap dwell time, for example?
Yeah,
Does it
it could,
track
well,
like that?
you know, every item in a store has a location aisle. So as people scan items, that's how we typically can follow them through the store.
Pinged.
You don't do any kind of audit control, like somebody leaving the store?
Any kind of what?
Auditing?
Oh, you mean in terms of preventing theft
Like,
and loss
yes,
and such?
yes.
Well, typically our kiosk, which is a small kiosk, plug-and-play kiosk, is located at the exit of the store, where there's typically where the self-checkouts are in grocery, so there's already security attention there, or at the exit doors in apparel where there's alarms and such.
So, but I mean, do you recommend store personnel do occasional audits or not?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, well, I lost my train of thought on that. I'm sorry.
Well, I think one of the keys, it sounds like, is that the stores are really committed for the signage, to help signing it, to push their white label,
Yes.
to get it going, and to train the customers to use it appropriately.
Exactly. User adoption obviously is key in our business model. So we actually have, again, depending on the business model, we have process flows to help get user adoption as high as we can.
So where do you see the reseller community here helping you in that whole
There's a lot of
cycle?
partner opportunities with Shopic. There's a payment commission that can be paid on a sale, and depending on a partner's involvement in the integration, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there. There's also an opportunity for residual income on a transaction basis. We have a transactional pricing model. So it's bespoke for every partner because it depends on the client, number of locations, and volume. But typically, there could be a very lucrative residual income opportunity working with Shopic.
And it only is in-store, right? It's not out-store? Or...
This is in-store only.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you thought about doing the full circle? Or?
Right now, this is what we're focused on.
Okay.
Yeah, in-store.
So are you, you put a couple logos three logos of big companies. Are you focused on the larger organization, or are you looking to go down to tier 3, tier 4?
Yes, we are very scalable. Tier 1 and 2 is terrific, but below that, it's a very scalable solution. So even chains with a small amount of stores can find this to be a practical solution. One or two stores that are 1 or 2 locations, simply not big enough for our solution.
Are there any markets that you'd rather not do it in? Any retail markets? You know, depending on what their business is?
Yeah, we fit in grocery, we fit in consumer goods, department stores. We don't fit into food, restaurants, fast food. It's just not a fit.
Time for one more question.
So you're saying from the pricing model, you've got a per store potentially and transaction, or how do you
Yeah,
collect
we
the money
have
from-
a software as a service model, so it'll be per store per month, per location per month, or a transactional based model where there's a minimum, but it's based on transaction.
Great.
Okay. All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you
you very
very
much.
much.
Okay. Well, please help me welcome to the stage our last contestant, Georgina Nelson, who is founder and CEO of True Ratings.
Hello. So what's the most important thing for any business? It's knowing whether your customers are happy, so they'll come back and spend more with you. But the reality is, today, businesses hear from just 1 in 1,000 of their customers. Most of that's complaints, heard days or weeks after the event, and businesses don't really know whether to trust those reviews either. Are they left by a disgruntled ex-employee, a competitor who's just moved in down the road? And because there isn't that trust, businesses aren't taking action on what justifiably is the most important thing, whether your customers are happy. So, 4 years ago, I had an idea. If you could make feeding back super simple, super quick, and you could pair it with a payment, then you could be assured that all that feedback is validated and trustworthy. So that is what I did. So no matter how you pay, whether online, on a payment terminal, on your phone, you just get asked one simple question on an aspect of your experience. But that question rotates. So you may get, please rate the service from 0 to 9. You may get, please rate the product range from 0 to 9. So very quickly you build up a picture of statistical significance on the metrics of what really matter to that business. So that rating in real time feeds a data analytics dashboard. So the merchant can see how they're doing over time. And because we're part of that payment transaction, we see how much the consumer spends, and we also see what's in their basket. So we can provide SKU level data analytics. They can compare themselves with their anonymous competitors. They can see shift times and the effectiveness of staff training, etc. They can add their own custom questions into the mix. So you're in your headquarters in Manhattan, you get an alert from us saying that your Boston store has fallen 30% that morning in service. You can quickly ask a question. Was it the friendliness of the staff? Was it the queue time? So you can get actionable, trusted data. And how are we doing? We're doing pretty well. We've had 5 million ratings to date, and we're on track for 1 billion by this time next year. We're live in the UK, New Zealand, Australia, and Ireland, and we're just about to launch in the US and Canada. There's no one like us in the world. We have our 3 patents registered. And what's important is we're getting 88% customer response rate. So how are businesses using this data? It's not just about customer insight. It's about running your business in a different way. So operations, HR, management reporting are now basing their decisions of how they run their business on True Rating. The data we get is gold. That's what the head of the Nike franchisee in Australia just said. They use True Rating data to test the efficacy of new staff training programs. Should they invest in an expensive meet and greet training, they'll test that out in one experiment store and see how much people are spending, ask specific questions relating to that, and then they know what that ROI is, how long it's going to take them to make that investment back. Sales cycles, a massive global fashion retailer just reduced their sales period from 3 weeks to 2 weeks based on true rating data, pricing strategies. We have a quick service restaurant in Australia and actually many others who have wanted to hike up their prices. But how is that going to change value perception? Are people still going to be in love with their brand? And again, doing A/B testing in bricks and mortar, testing out new pricing strategies, and having the confidence to make that change across the group. So, and how will we do it? With the likes of you. So we partner with the guys who make that payment application. So these are just some of our fantastic partners. And then you go out and you resell it. But the beauty is you don't really have to resell. Because we're integrated into that payment application, merchants can take that terminal out the box, a couple of selections on the menu, and we can start purring. And we do a freemium model, so that means you can offer it to all your merchants across every single vertical and every size. We're working with the biggest retailers in the world down to the smallest.
All right, we're going to have to cut you off there. So we can cover it on Q&A.
Yeah, I was just going to say we're with Kayan and DataCap, so come and check us out later. Thank you.
All right. So who are your partners?
I think we're partnering with 60 partners globally, and we're demoing with DataCap and Kayan today.
So, Georgie, you mentioned the comparing the data to your competition.
Yeah.
Is it your data that you're comparing it to that you've gotten from other customers?
Yeah.
And so they agree to.
It's
you
anonymous.
Can show me my data.
It's anonymous. So it's there's an anonymous pool of 5, but it's up to the merchant to set what they want their competitor pool to be. So they might say, I want to compare myself to all Italian restaurants in this zip code or state, or they might say all restaurants along my street. So we give them the flexibility. And yeah, it's always an anonymous pool of 5.
So that's pretty granular. Like, is that anonymous if you can drill down to Italian restaurants on your street?
Yeah, well, yeah, if we can't provide that granular data, we go an extra level up.
Right. So what control do your customers have on what data of theirs is shared? Because that could be concerning if you can, again, drill down to that granularity that your competitors may have pretty good insight into your information, even though it's, quote, anonymous.
Well, we follow the same anonymization protocol as the card schemes. Visa and MasterCard use this anonymous pool of 5. And so there isn't any way which you could break up and find someone else's core data.
So how are you different from other companies that are doing customer surveys that would just ask one question? Because other people can do the same thing, just ask one question. How are you guys different?
I think because we call it the moment of truth. When someone pays for something, Gartner research says that's 40% more accurate than if you were to ask someone after the event. And I think because we're there, the customer is waiting, their goods are being scanned. That's why we get that 88% of engagement. So I do think placement is absolutely key. We're anonymous. Again, all our exit interviews show that actually people, they want to have the freedom to feedback and then not get chased with marketing requests, further actions. And so I think the solution which we have really meets the consumer need.
How do we get something out of the deal?
Pardon?
How as a reseller do we profit or help our business?
Well, first I guess you're saying, hey, would you like my terminal? It comes with a free customer analytics solution, which before has only been, the types of insight which has only been available to the big guys, and now this can be for you and it's free. And so that's going to look a far more appealing offer than a terminal without. So obviously you've got stickiness. We have merchants coming to us who are switching payment partners to move to true rating. And then there's the revenue share. So a merchant can go for Pro, and often all our enterprise customers are with Pro, and we revenue share with that. So you get a referral fee, and then you get an ongoing revenue share.
Is it a set fee, or is it a per
so
survey fee?
we do it per outlet basis. So merchants pay us. It's a monthly SaaS payment, and then we share that with you guys.
So are there different levels of analytics? So for example, do you just say, here are the analytics just for your location, and then it's another level of revenue to compare?
Yeah, so we have the freemium model, And then we have the Pro model. So the Pro allows you to add more customized questions into the mix and get access to like SKU level data reports. But essentially for us, we want the world using this tool. So we make the freemium model is everything which a mom and pop needs to understand what they need to do in their business.
So you have one question, but does that change every single time?
Yeah, exactly. So they're on rotation. Sure. So you've got 5 core questions, which all our research showed was the most important thing to businesses. So these are around the product. So it would be like, please rate the product range or the food, etc., or my bed in a hotel. Then you've got service. You've got recommendability. So would you recommend this place? You've got the value perception, and you've got your experience. So what was the atmosphere like, for example? And then the merchant can add their own custom questions into the mix. So just go onto their dashboard, add another question, and in real time, that will go down to the terminals.
Is that something that gets refreshed like every 6 months with a new set maybe, or?
No, but it's because they want that consistent pulse to measure across those metrics, and they get developed into the merchant's KPIs. It's how we're working with businesses who are now bonusing their teams based on true rating scores, and those who have adopted this see a 10% increase in revenue. So they want that consistency, and it's also the core questions are key for benchmarking. You need that consistency to be able to benchmark against your anonymous peers. But because they can add customized questions, that's the flexibility which they need to respond to different businesses.
So how much historical data? How far back can I look to see how I've changed from? Can I designate, say, let me see 3 months to now?
Yeah. You can look at this morning, yesterday, then right back from the beginning.
So there's a lot of information that you're providing them in this dashboard, but like in the end, how do you help them, or how do you help your customers make a good change?
Yeah.
Like they get all this information, but what do you do about it? Like how do you help them?
Yeah, I think that that's the key journey which we've been on, especially as we've been working, with the mum and pops, like the big retailers. They want it in an IV drip, and they've got the team to analyze all the data. But for us, we learned that. These people who are managing their shops, they don't have time to log onto a dashboard. They don't want to be analyzing a graph. They just want a hit from us saying what they need to change. So we're partnered with Microsoft. We're part of the Microsoft alumni, and they're extremely helpful to us in building this solution. And so now what we do is our algorithms will pick up the key things where that merchant needs to change in their business. And so we'll say, if you can increase your service scores by 1, for example, that will mean that over the course of the year, you're going to earn how much extra per head and in revenue. And we're also just rolling out what we're calling intelligent questions. So that means that we will notice that there's been a statistical change in one of the questions, and then we'll put in the other ones. So they don't have to go onto their dashboard. They don't have to do it themselves. We'll just provide that constant feed to them.
Okay, so we're out of time.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let the voting begin. Okay, so we do have a winner. So the winner, in addition to the tickets to the 2018 RetailNOW conference, they'll also receive a complimentary hospitality room for up to 25 guests. They'll also receive an article in Connect magazine, and the trophy, of course, I've left under my seat. So the winner is True Rating. Georgina? So we did have a little snafu. We had a very nice custom trophy made of a shark, bobblehead, name on it. It was lost in transit. So as a placeholder, can you hear that? It's for giving your very own
I'll take it to bed with me
whale.
every night.
Yes. And matches your brand color almost.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Awesome. Absolutely thrilled. Looking forward to speaking with you all.
Okay, well, thank you all for attending and voting, all right?
Thanks.